Hey, what's up, everybody? You're watching Sit Down. I'm DJ Sixsmith, Dan Perlman, Kevin Iso here with us. Flatbush Misdemeanors coming to Showtime May 23rd. What's up, guys? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing great. It's awesome to talk to you and really looking forward to the show. So, Kevin, why don't we start with you, man? This was the web series not that long ago. Now it's coming to Showtime. What's the craziest part of this whole story here, in your opinion?
Um, Craziest part, I don't know. Um, I'm not broke no more.
That's a nice thing, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't. I'm not like. I'm not like super excited or anything because I still don't know what the reception is gonna be. So I just kind of like just chill until like you know people actually see it, and then if they love it, and it's like okay, cool. But I don't like to set expectations for myself.
Totally understand that. Dan, how about for you? When you think about from where this began to where it's going to, what's the most interesting part of the story to you?
I think the coolest thing for me was how, I mean, everything we made as a web series, like everyone that was involved was just doing it as a favor, you know? It was like comedians we knew that we were just like begging to show up for an hour, and like spaces we were sneaking into and or just shooting in our own apartments and stuff and oh, who has a camera? Like we didn't and spacing it out and such and but then to be able to like keep so many of those elements that were just on borrowed time and resources and bribing a janitor so we could sneak into a school on a Saturday and shoot a classroom scene and like and keep all those same people like Kareem who plays my stepdad and Drew who plays John in the show and Kerry who was in the web series and is a writer and actor on the show. I don't know, to be able to like keep all those pieces at a bigger stage is really cool and not have to you
Yeah,
know
it's amazing how you've been able to have the same authenticity and some of the same folks here. And Kevin, obviously Brooklyn is a really special place to you and Dan, but there are some folks who will learn about Flatbush for the first time nationally. So, what's most important about Brooklyn in your opinion, and what did you want to show about your spot?
It's a neighborhood where the culture is super rich. It's like Brooklyn is borough and Flatbush is a neighborhood. So a lot of the things inside of the show are specific to Flatbush. It was great to cast. I think I don't know the exact number, but we had a lot of people from the neighborhood working on the show, and um, one of our leads, Kristen Dotson, is from Brooklyn, and she sounds like she's from Brooklyn, which was like super important because like they have an accent. Um, and as far as the neighborhood goes, it's just like man, it's it's rich in culture because you have a lot of people come out here from the Caribbeans, and I think it was just dubbed like Little Caribbean. This woman, Shelley Worrell, made that happen. I forget what year, but it's pretty big because you don't get that for a lot of Black communities. Um, and yeah, man, I don't know. I just hope people see it and see all of the characters as like human beings and not a bunch of like stereotypes. Because really, all people see on television is a bunch of like when they say Caribbean, it is immediately a Jamaican, and it's like always the same shit, and they're just like, oh, that's what that is. So hopefully they're able to like um separate the two.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point you make, Kevin, because we could be really monolithic with how we look at race, right? There's a difference between Caribbean and Jamaican, right? There's a difference between people that live in Flatbush and other parts of Brooklyn. So Dan, when you think about Flatbush, What makes the neighborhood special in your opinion?
Um, I think it is probably. I mean, it's diverse in so many respects, and it's so many like, and it's had so many different iterations. Like it is such a Caribbean and Black community now, and it's it was like a farming community, and it was a Jewish communities where the Dodgers played, and it's so historic and yet not as represented. You've seen the same kind of streets in Manhattan or in Williamsburg a million times in a million different shows, and then there's everyone has shown different parts of New York about like, oh, this is the real New York, or this is that, but they're all real, they all coexist, and they all overlap. I think Flatbush really lends itself to that with so many different um, people intersecting and so many different types of um, you know architecture and buildings and community, and it's very diverse in many different ways, so it sort of lends itself to a show that is very organically diverse and not in a way that is like forced or contrived or trying to be trendy or anything like that. So that's what's cool and exciting. It's just a basis for it.
Kevin, you have been doing comedy for a long time, whether it's stand up or this show. What's it been like for you building out your career, and what have you wanted to do with your work when you think about just your goals in general?
Everything's been pretty, like, I guess, I don't know. It's kind of, when I think about it, I just kind of like do what I want to do, um, and just float. Um, I'm blessed to be in this position that I'm in, but even before this, it was a lot of like, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to like, I like being able to be in control of shit that I create. And when I'm not afforded that opportunity, I am quick to kind of like say no to something. So um that's what it's been like before even this has even happened. I didn't have anything. Um and so, you know, in the future it's just gonna be more of the same. Like I just kind of I want to be free.
Yeah, I think that creative control is super important because not enough people understand that when you guys are running the show, when you have the producer titles on there, it can go the way you want it to go, as opposed to being at the mercy of somebody else. And Dan, even to that point, you can talk about the things you want to talk about, right? So this show will hit gentrification and it will hit race relations with police, right? So what was most important in terms of really honing in on some of these ideas for the show?
Um, it was definitely important to like hit stuff that felt like relevant or evergreen without being like a daily. You don't want it to feel so um, like topical or referencing one specific thing. So I mean, you want people to see it and relate, but you also don't want um, you don't want it to be preachy. You don't want it to be um, like film festival, you go and they just choose some issue randomly, and they decided from the beginning like we're not doing very special episodes, where it's like a very special thing about um, a violence or whatever. So it was cool to just how do we hit these issues in an organic way, in a way that makes sense for the characters, in a way that is not forced and is like still fun, um, without maintaining that it's a comedy, but hitting it in a real way, not sort of making anything a caricature, not sanding down the issue or anything, but still dealing with it with some like heart and levity and stuff.
Hey, Kevin, Dan mentioned before that, it's some of the original folks from the web series, but then you have some new folks that are jumping into the mix here too. And people familiar with The Wire will know Hassan Johnson as Weebay, and they'll get to see him in here. So what was it like working with him? Can we get some stories about him?
Hassan is funny, bro. He's he naturally kind of just fit in to the role, because the role he's playing is you kind of have to have some comedic chops for it. And you know, he kind of came in and was just naturally, you know, he was actually like was hoping that we could cast him before he even said he was like before they even offered his name. I was like, oh, because he was funny on The Wire. It was just like you had to like really watch it and be like, oh, that's a funny dude. Um, and you know the cast, everybody like Hassan, Kristen, Zuri, Angela, Cat, like they when they came together like the first day, I remember they all like I mean, they all left together, like but they came separately, and it was like really cool because they immediately clicked, and um, you know this is our first time doing this, but you know people say that doesn't always happen. Um, so there are like I don't know any stories about Hassan off the top of my head, but it was a lot of laughing.
That's really awesome to hear, and it's cool
Yeah,
that the vibe was there from day one. So Dan, when you think about the people who had been on the series, the new folks that were brought in, what was most memorable just about the set and just bringing everybody together, like Kevin's saying here?
it was just cool. It was just cool from the first table read. It was just because you're in the writers' room and you're hearing this stuff, and um, for the new um, people who weren't in the web series, who we didn't have their voices, we didn't know what Zaina would sound like or what Drew would sound like, and to see Kristen Dodson and Hassan Johnson come in and just like fully bring it to life was like really cool. I think just the first time seeing the whole cast together and seeing how funny and well they played off each other and seeing that energy, it was like, this could really work, you know. So that was really cool. I'll remember that.
That's really awesome here. Kevin, you said before you're not sure how people will receive it. You're not going to make, big predictions or anything like that. But what do you hope to accomplish with the show when people do check it out? What are the things you want to get across as people tune in?
I mean that we I mean for one, you know, that they laugh um at it, which I think it's pretty funny. Um and that they're laughing for the right reasons. But I guess like overall, like this idea that, you know, kind of poking a hole with this idea that, you know, everybody that commits a crime or you know lives a certain way is a bad person, and you know um or that because of a person's past they're not able to sort of live in the present um with any sort of forgiveness, or the way that society just kind of views people. They shouldn't be vilified by society for it. So hopefully that message comes across, but if not, then whatever, we tried.
I think that's a great point because we are a society that's really quick to judge. We don't see the depth in people or the depth in issues. And I think your show has a great opportunity to, really expose some of this stuff. So Dan, when you think about it, when people tune in on the 23rd, what's most important to you that you're trying to get across here, man?
I hope they think it's funny. But also to what Kev is saying, yeah, I hope they see that with the characters we've made, that we tried to. We never wanted to just be uh, the Kevin and Dan show with nobody else mattering. We wanted to have Dan and Kevin like exist in a community and have characters with their own issues and priorities and all that, and we're all just kind of bumping into each other because that feels more organic, and to try to have empathy for a lot of these characters and not have them just be pure obstacles. So I hope I hope people see that and appreciate that and think that's cool too. And it's fun for me when people have different, like, oh, I love that person. I love, if different things are for different people, then that's cool. It means we made something that has resonance in different ways. So, and yeah, then I hope they just laugh at the jokes.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Sunday, May 23rd is a big day. Dan, Kevin, nice to meet you guys. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you down the road, all right?
We appreciate it. Thank you.